So sometimes when you strum chords in a song, you want to switch it up and you play arpeggios, but you don't know where to put your pick, and sometimes you don't even have time to do it. So what do? Play arpeggios with a pick. So that is two things. One, it allows you to smoothly transition from one section to the other, and two, it eliminates the risk of dropping your pick. Now, playing arpeggiated parts will bring its own challenges and limitations, especially when compared with a fingerstyle technique where you're actually using your fingers to play. But today we're going to look into general application of the technique in the context of a couple of examples. So today we're going to keep it simple and we're going to work with a couple of open chord shapes just for the sake of the lesson. So the chords will be A minor, C, D, and F. So F can be either the full bar shape. If you can't do that yet, you can just do a smaller version. Then A minor again, E, A minor, and E. And the time signature for this chord progression will be 6/8, which means that every bar has 6 beats and each beat is of an eighth note value. So it would sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the actual part that we will be playing is going to have note on each beat of the bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what I'm doing here is I'm basically starting with the lowest root note that we can find on each chord. And in A minor's case, it's going to be open A string, open 5th string. And then I'm going through the strings 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. So the whole thing. Now I'm starting with a downstroke on the low note. And then you have a couple of options. I can either go alternate picking, which means you maintain that down, up, alternating between two directions, sort of fashion. Alternatively, what you can do, and what I tend to do in most cases, is I start with the downstroke on the low note, and then I play the rest of the strings only using upstrokes. Now, there is no rule which one you should use. It's entirely up to your preference, whichever feels more natural and whichever feels more comfortable. I personally find that going alternate picking requires a bit more brain work in my mind, whereas if I just do upstrokes, it's easy for me to find strings without having to look at my hand. So what we're going to do, we're going to play each chord once around the sequence, and then we're going to change the chord. So every bar is going to be a different chord. So we start with A minor, then we go C, same set of strings. Now for the D chord, we're jumping into 4th string on the bass, so our downstroke is going to be on the open 4th string. Now for the F, if you're doing the smaller version, you're going to stick on the same set of strings. Or if you're playing the full shape, then our root note, the lowest root note, is going to be on the 6th string. And we still do the upper 3 strings. Here we go, A minor again, as before. E, A minor, just bear in mind that on the E string, on the E chord, we're jumping to the 6th string for our lowest root note. So the whole sequence, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. sure by now you recognize the song. And we're not doing the exact part of the song, but it's close enough. It's a good start to practice. And you can definitely play along with it once you start picking up the tempo. You can practice along with the song. So this next example is a bit more advanced since we're adding extra notes that are not necessarily in the chords. And the pattern is a bit broken apart. And it sounds like this. This part mainly consists of A minor and G chord, going into a C at the end. But most of the arpeggiated stuff happens on the A minor chord in the rounding. So I'm going to start with an A minor shape again. My first note is going to be downstroke, and all the rest of them are going to be picked upwards. If you're doing alternative picking, just bear in mind that even the third note already has a string skip, which means that you're actually jumping from the fourth string, doing upward motion to second string, playing a downwards motion, which is downstroke. That motion is quite difficult to perform with precision if the tempo is quite high. So what I would recommend, slow down or try the down and up method. So we're starting on strings 5, 4, 2, 3. Then we play open E string. Then we fret it with our first finger, first fret of the first string. Then we need to somehow quickly come back on the second string of the first, second string, first fret with your first finger. Third string as it was before, so it goes. So after that we go into a G sort of shape where we put our ring finger and pinky on the second and third strings as if we were doing an open G chord, and we play first string, second, and then we go to the sixth string, third fret, and that's when I'm playing the downstroke. So, and I quickly jump to the third fret of the fifth string, and then we play 2, 3 on the fifth string. So slowly again. Now, another technique that really works well with arpeggiated patterns is palm muting, which basically means that you're resting your wrist on the bridge of your guitar and you kind of move it a bit on the string so that it's slightly touching it without completely muting it. What it does is it gives a bit more percussive tone to your strings and it cuts off the length of the notes that they would otherwise ring out. So if I were to play without palm muting, it would sound like this. But if I were to do the palm muted version, it has completely different quality to it. I personally use it a lot. I put a lot of palm muting when I'm playing arpeggiated patterns because it kind of makes them sound less messy, because it's easy to make it kind of like every note kind of becomes washed out around all the other notes. After we play the riff 4 times, we sort of jump into quarter section. So this is going to be a great opportunity for you to practice both arpeggiated patterns mixed up with some strumming. So the strumming part goes like this. confidence, we just play A minor, and then G, and then the ending is exactly the same as we did before, when we were playing the arpeggiated part. So I hope both of these examples will help you kind of unlock this technique and help you build more confidence and control over playing those individual notes. These two parts are completely enough to kind of get you started playing arpeggiated patterns using your pick. And my suggestion is to start slow, obviously find out which approach is better for you, whether it's alternate picking or whether it's like down on the root note and then up on all the rest notes. So yeah, I hope that was useful, and let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time.